Media must investigate. There are people in ASU bribing the media to put certain stories in certain ways to the federal government. Buhari is sitting now inside his private jet, going to London for holiday, with his toothpick in his mouth, watching all of you doing ASU strike. How much are we going to give these ASUs again? Every day extorting us. The ASU is extorting the federal government, and the federal government don't give a shit. Write it. ASU is extorting the federal government, and the federal government don't give a shit. I'm going to wrap up my video. I can't do everything. Thank you. Everybody loving my strength, my audacity, my bravery, my boldness, but nobody will talk. And that's why there's Kemi Talks. These guys called NUT. You know them. Nigerian Union of Teachers. That's why they call them NUT, Abby. Because they're nuts. Listen to this story carefully, because you weren't born. You were not born, and your father and mother did not tell you. In 1975, I was 11 years old. I was a primary school student. I did common entrance, and I got into St. Teresa's College. Teacher strike was so incessant in Nigeria. Primary school strike, secondary school strike. The students were happy we were at home. We didn't do anything. We just watched TV. If your parents had TV, not everybody had TV. There was no internet. So many of us will sit down like this for days at a time, listen to the radio. The radio was there. You'd be hearing every program after every program. The radio stations, there was no 25 radio stations. There was only one, Radio Nigeria. And your state had one. Or your state had Radio Nigeria and BCOS. Oyo State will do their own, Radio OYO, BCOS, and Radio Nigeria do their own. The strike kept getting bad. Students would go out and do every manner of bad things. There was no cultism, yahoo, or ritualism. But there was beating people in the neighborhood, bullying others and all. Everyone that bullied me in school, it was my chance to now beat them up in the community. I had a list now, and the book is still here. I have the book where I wrote the names of the bullies, the exercise book. Almost 50 years. I have it. I'll post it after. To prevent me from fighting in the community, my parents sent me to UCH to go and work with my aunt. I think I've told you that part. And I started working by counting pills and helping people at the counter at the pharmacy. Mrs. Molara Kemi, the late Mrs. Molara Kemi, was the director of pharmacy of UCH, my aunt. And at the end of the day, I ended up becoming a pharmacist. That's how it started. So that's the primary school ASU strike kind of thing with NUT. Every year it became a tradition. They got their demands, they want more. Get their demands, they want more. They want more. They want more. They want more. And then in 1977, 78, 79, it was actually 79 when Shagari won. There was one long teacher strike. And people started discovering London. Not America or London. Send your child away to school in London. So all these myths that you hear, that people send their children abroad, is not even true. Let me tell you how it became. Politicians send their children. No. Everybody send their child abroad, if you knew. That's why I give you information. Education is power. At that time, people hear that your child can go and do HSC abroad. A levels, 2 years. School fees, 1,200 naira a year, 1,200. 2 need school fees. So everybody started sending their children to do HSC abroad. My father came live on my Twitter and told you guys that. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, everybody started sending their children abroad. This is where I met Bemi Saraki and Bukola Saraki, who were all 15 years old. Tunde Koka, Lanre Cheju Osho, Moji Okoya, who ended up marrying Lanre Cheju Osho, Eleganza's daughter. 'Cause 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 All of us went to school in London and Oxford. Agu Iruku. We all schooled at FSS, then we all headed to London. Agu Iruku is Pastor Agu of Redeem London, Jesus House. Yeah, I went to school with Agu. Agu was a bad boy. When I heard that he became a pastor, I couldn't believe. Lenny Anya. Funke Awolowo and Shegun Awolowo. Awolowo was alive. All the grandchildren schooled in the same place as we schooled. Notice how the children of the elites and the rich were the first ones to exit. Yewande Oyediran, Kemi Oyediran, Awolowo's grandchildren. Pastor Tola Oyediran, late pastor and chairman of Tribune, her daughters. They all were in school with us in London. That's another set of Awolowo grandchildren. Funke and Shegun, another set. Their own father died when he was younger. I was first child. Mrs. Shoyede's daughter, they were all abroad in school. Dolakpo Shoyode. All the Shoyedes, Dolakpo Shoyode, all of us were in that London Oxford thing. Dolakpo Shoyode is now Dolakpo Oshimbaju. Nigeria's second lady. Yeah. That's why I told you earlier that Professor Yemi Oshimbaju is Awolowo's grandson-in-law. Mrs. Awolowo HID, their grandmother. Those are all her grandchildren. Funke Awolowo, Shegun Awolowo. Funke is a pastor somewhere in Ogun State. Yewande Oyediran, Kemi Oyediran. Dolapo Shoyode. Uncle Wale's children. But one of Uncle Wale's children was not born in that time. In fact, that one was born after Awolowo himself died. That's Sheyi Awolowo. Sheyi Awolowo, Big Brother Nigeria, Dr. Sheyi. Even Sheyi contacted me when he first won. I told him, I said, Sheyi, call me back. I want to interview you. He even asked me all these little things. Because some people may not be able to tell him in their family itself. Many of them have died. Uncle Wale has died. Mr. Ediro is dead. Mr. Ede died very early. So even Sheyi Awolowo has to know the history of his family through strangers like me. We're friends with the Awolowo family. My dad was frenemies with Awolowo in the beginning. But at the end of the day, he has to keep learning too. When I told him the story of Shagari and Awolowo, how Awolowo tricked Shagari when he came to becoming president, and how they ran against each other in 1979 and in 1983, and Awolowo lost both elections. And how both of them were in the Ministry of Finance. Shagari was Minister of Finance before, so was Awolowo. And how Awolowo stopped all the money from coming into Biafra. I've mentioned a lot of public figures that were in school at the same time because of teachers' strike. And then there was another side, not the children of the rich or the children of the elite, but the children of the Alajas. Those are Alajas in Balogun, Allen Avenue, all those Alajas there. Alaja this, Alaja that. Their children went abroad with us too, because they knew. The Alajas knew that they could send their children abroad for 1,200 a year. Everybody graduated HSC. Femi Fanikade was in London at the same time. That's how we all knew each other. All the way to teenagehood. I grew up with Femi as a 2-year-old. Femi was 5 during the coup when my father worked for their father. And we walked it all up to teenage years. And after teenage years, I lost touch with Femi. I went to America. He came back to Nigeria after he finished law in Cambridge. He became a minister and everything. I went to America for 32 years. And then we met last year for the first time in 38 years. You need to know the history of histories. You need to know things. Nobody will tell you these things I'm telling you. This is why you need a Twitter account to open our accounts, so that you can listen to me on Twitter. Like when I leave now, I'm going to Twitter, and I'm going to try and bring my father in to speak about the ASU strike. Do you not know that bringing my dad into my life is a privilege? When I tell you that it is a privilege to follow me, and it's not a right. People cry and email me, begging me when I block them on Twitter. One girl called me when my number was there, begging me. I brought Mutiu Agboke, INEC head for your state. I brought my dad twice. Stuff you will never hear. Popsi Tiana says we can't be begging for something that's rightfully owned by us. Beg Ike. They must do it. The media must investigate and stop reporting. Chineye, if you want to donate to my work, look at the pinned tweet. The account numbers are there. Thank you very much for your donation in advance. Minimum is 500 naira. Any amount. Someone gave me 500K last night. I've been investigating ASU, and they will hear from me when I tweet it. ASU, stop paying media houses in your quest to extort the government. You are hurting people. Universities need to release results.